What's up out there? New build, polished this one off, finished it off. I started this build actually started life as a Death's Oath occultist, which would be using, I have to do owned. It would be using this piece of gear that I cannot find right here. This thing here. I've been wanting to run this and try it. I find this thing every league. I'm curious about how this build works. I started this off with it, but this is like so many other builds, and well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I just jump into a build and just try it, whether I know anything about it or not. And number two, this is one of those builds like an armor stacker or something like that, where you have to start it as something different, and then when you get up enough high enough levels, you basically take this on. So when I started this off for the Death's Oath build, I learned after I started playing it that you have to start off, there's some weird chaos skills you have to use. I don't remember what they are, but it just wasn't very pleasant. I wasn't really enjoying it all that much. And then I got to like level 30 or so with it. I spent some time with it and then shelved it and thought, I'm not going to mess with it too much further. Then I got this gem, Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction, 21 of 20. This is the one I got from a div card. I did not realize you can get these, I don't know which div card set it was. I just got it. I'm like, how the hell did I get this? But it came from a div card set, and I don't remember if it was with level 21 or 20% quality or whatever, but like it came out of the div card just like this. So I had to work up to level 72 in order to equip this. So, and it was basically, this is using the same build in essence. I need to go back and do some lab runs, finish these last couple off. But instead of doing a cultist, you do the necromancer or whatever on this side. So it took a lot of the same nodes that I had in some of these same areas. So it wasn't too bad to respec out of and respec into this build here. So I'm kind of coming off into this right side and finishing this off, but I had to peel off down to here, and I had to once I got Detonate Dead, I had to redo some things here, but like for the most part, I came over on this side off on this way, and for the other build, and a lot of that stayed, so it wasn't a big deal. So I now have Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction. Getting from the Death Oath build that I had over to this, I used Wave of Conviction, and I really liked Wave of Conviction. I kept trying to use Cremation. I think it was Cremation. I am not a fan of that skill. That was not my jam at all. I did not enjoy this here, and even Detonate Dead kind of sucked. I've got a lot of work to do on this build. Like, it just got to mapping here not long. We're level 77, so I just got it into mapping, and I haven't really spent a whole lot of time gearing this thing up, but man, this is a awesome skill. I see why people like it so much. This is fantastic. You just run in and nuke everything, and what doesn't die eventually does. Why am I not casting? Come on. I get into these weird issues where it won't cast. Like, I haven't figured out why that happens. Like, I throw it down and I start right-clicking. Is that Death's Oath armor? Or is it the other one? It's the other one, the Restless Ward. I've gotten that a bunch of times too. But for some reason, sometimes it just doesn't finish casting. So, I don't know. I've died a lot with this build. This has been a rough build to work with, both on the Death's Oath side with all the chaos crap I was using, because I was totally unprepared for doing whatever I needed to do on that side, and totally not prepared on this side. The other thing I'm kind of baffled at, like when stuff explodes, why is that stuff exploding over there? I thought I killed it. Man, maybe I didn't. I don't know. These things that I've noticed that with like my Bone Shatter build, I've got things set to destroy bodies on death, yet when something comes along and can detonate them, it detonates them. And I really don't understand how that works, because I've killed stuff off and destroyed the body. Like I have the set to where it destroys the body. There's something on your passive tree you can take. Anyway, So this build's died quite a bit of times. Like, it's been a ridiculously rough ride. This character's had a rough go, but now that I was kind of regretting it for a little while. I don't know. I don't know why I got started back on this. I was just kind of, I feel like doing something different. You know, I was going to go into Bone Shatter and go. I've got a Maven run queued up. I need to do more of that, but man, I just get so tired of going and fighting all the bossing that it takes to get. It's kind of boring. You got to run all those different maps, 100 maps or something like that, because you got to do 10 maps, and then you got to fight the big boss fight at the Maven, and then you got to do 10 more maps. Like, that just gets old, and I get kind of tired of it. I get bored with it. And I know there's easier ways of getting the Maven stuff, but I just don't have enough of those the other maps to run. So I get into that slog, and that's kind of where I was at, and that's where I kind of just stall out, and I'm like, whatever. I don't really feel like messing with it. So I came in here and started, I don't know, like, I just saw this build. I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just finish it off and see what happens. And I was kind of regretting things when I was starting to mess around with, the Wave of Conviction was fun. I enjoyed that. Wave of Conviction was a lot of fun playing that. You just wipe out half the screen, you know. Once that thing gets going, now I had some trouble with some bosses and stuff, and I was trying to make cremation work, and there's there's probably multiple versions of cremation, but there's the one that you use, the regular cremation, and then there's a cremation that you can get that is that just you don't have to have the bodies for it. It's the boss fight here. This is tier 2 map. This is nothing serious. Oh yeah, boss is dead. He's gone. We need to corrupt this. And that thing's dead. But I had a lot of fun. I don't think I have that. I had a lot of fun with Wave of Conviction. What do you got to run? Desecrate. You got to toss this Desecrate down. I was not really a fan of doing that at first. And I'm kind of curious to see how this goes with bossing and stuff like that. Let's see, we've already cleared all this out, right? Yeah, we've cleared all this out. We don't need to do any more. I'm not going to bother with that other thing over there. Let's see if we can drop some of this stuff off. Oh, I didn't have that. Drop all this crap off here, but I got a lot of work to do on this build. Like, this build needs a lot of love and attention. It's got nothing, no implicits are done. I've got a little bit of currency, not really enough to mess with this. Fortunately, I had a 6 link, and I was able, this was equipped. I don't know what level I needed this to be, but I already had this. I was like level 50 or something, so I was able to equip this, and basically, I don't really have, you know, this gear is not that great. It's doing the job right now. I do have, yeah, my resistances with this thing whenever this thing runs. Yeah, that's the, had to make sure that wasn't the Chaos Res one. But when I was talking about this gem here a minute ago. The what was it? It's not Volatile Dead. Cremation of the Volcano. I need to make sure this goes into my Transfigured gem spot. So there's regular cremation, which you have to use this Desecrate to create bodies and all that stuff with. Then there's this Cremation of the Volcano. This was actually kind of cool. I like this, but Wave of Conviction was still far better than this thing. And I actually got that when I was when I did one of the lab runs for this. I got that in there. But man, then I got the action. Once I leveled up and was able to do this. This is just ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. I can't wait to go up against some decent bosses with this thing. Like, I really need to get this leveled up and get, I need to hit like level 95, get some really good gear. It's, I like explosions. And this is a lot of explosions. And you can just simply walk forward and push this. I've not really watched anybody play Detonate Dead or Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction, so I have no idea how you're actually supposed to play this. I just kind of put it together and made buttons work the way I thought they should. And I am very happy with this build. I was kind of I was a little bit unhappy with it when I actually got Detonate Dead to work. I got things built up to the point where I could run Detonate Dead and not just run Cremation and all that. And I tried it, and I was like, this kind of sucks. Like, Wave of Conviction was still more fun because you could only detonate like one body at a time or something, so you had to constantly throw stuff out. I'm like, this kind of sucks. I'm not really into this. But once the second that I got level 72 and was able to equip this, I was like, oh my god, this is so worth it. Because now you can just blow up an entire screen. And the explosions on this are like massive. I didn't realize they were so big. Like, this thing fills the screen, and probably because it's all chaining together, but man, I don't care. I was like, this is all right. So now I've had to go in and update my item filter, and I need to get all new gear. Like, I need to get energy shield gear. And so far the build's been good. The POB's been really good. It's a little confusing. Like, sometimes they'll say you can, it took me a minute to figure it out. I think what they're trying to say, I don't want that. I think what they're trying to say is, because they'll show like 5 skills on a 4-socket item, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. But I think what they're trying to say is that you would use one for mapping and one for bossing, but there's not really like notes. I don't think there's notes. I have to go back and look. Another thing I'm bad at doing is reading notes and trying to figure things out. I just kind of shoved this build down. I found one that looked reasonable. I did very little research and just kind of threw this thing together and see how it went. I'm very happy with the way this is going. And I did check to see, I did check what some people are doing with their 6 links, and it's basically the same thing as what this one's got. So I don't think there's anything different that can be done. I mean, I'm sure there's different stuff, but what I'm saying is, as far as this build goes, it seems like both of them are about the same. So what people are doing, what some other level 100s are doing, is the same setup as what this is. I was more concerned because they've got hypothermia on here, and I'm like, why would you have hypothermia on a fire build? I mean, I guess it's for the ailment stuff you get out of it or something, but a little extra damage. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me, and I was like, I mean, I suppose I don't want to hit that altar. I feel like running that right now. But this build is just hilarious. Throw bodies down, get out of here, and just start detonating things. Well, the problem is you kind of need to stand still for a little bit, and I just run out of healing sometimes. Good old Nico, man. He comes out and sits in the middle of all these monsters fighting. Oh, I need to corrupt that. Trying to do challenges. This thing's not dying. There we go. I'm actually curious what this does with boss fights. So we've got, on the 6 link, we've got Detonate Jet, of course, and then there's Fire Pen. We've got Hypothermia, which I thought was a little weird because this has got chance to freeze enemies, which are chilled. I mean, this supports it. It says it supports Detonate Dead. I guess it highlights it here. It does more cold damage and cold damage with hits, and I was like, okay, that's kind of weird that it puts that on there. Then we've got Energy Leech. Like, a lot of these are things that I've not used before. Intensify and then LE Focus. I'm not used to casters, so this is a lot different for me. In some respects, I guess. I mean, and funnily enough, the actual first, well, not, the other thing too is this calls for minions, and I'm not sure where minions come into this. Like, we take a lot of stuff for minions on the passive tree. There's stuff down here. I thought there was some things in here that, oh, well, I guess we take retributions to go here. But we also come over here and pick up this minion thing over here, which I thought was kind of weird. I don't know what, unless these are minions, I'm not sure. Because no, it's just spell AoE and fire. Unless we get minion support on here somewhere. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but like bone offering. I keep forgetting to use bone offering. I need to work that in, but there's a lot of buttons on this too. When I looked at this, when I looked at how some of this was set up, it was like, man, there's just a ridiculous amount of buttons all over the place. We'll go do this boss and then call it a video. I know this is like one of the simplest bosses to kill. But this thing goes fast. Once I get this geared up, or if I actually get this geared up in a decent fashion, I can't wait to see how this goes. I might have that ring, but maybe not. Who knows? But anyway, I polished this thing off and got it leveled up. I just got a wild hair. I wanted to get it checked out and see how it went. And I'm really glad I did, because this has been a lot of fun. I see why this is, I think this is one of the more OP builds that we have. And I'm starting to see why. This has just been a blast to use. Literally a blast. You just nuke everything as it goes. So I'm curious to see where the rest of this goes. I think the rest of my points go off in this section over here. Like we're looking at getting, what are we getting? Trickery. I think I need to get Trickery, Blood Siphon, and then Coordination. I think that's where I'm headed for the next tree of this. So not like any real tremendous stuff coming out of it, but we've got Eldritch Battery going on here. And I don't remember anything else that was too exciting on it, but yeah, I'm really digging this. So I would love to get an actual bossing build that I could take down like Maven and stuff like that. I've not been able to do that yet in any league, and I'm hoping I get here. So I don't know if this is the one that's going to get me there or not, or if my Bone Shatter build will get me there, but somehow, some way, I've got a Maven fight coming up, and I do have the frag. I do have one of these. I thought about running this, but then I thought, you know what? I probably want to get two of these lined up, so if I fail one, I can immediately try the other one. Like if I'm close to succeeding, if I'm just going to fail this one miserably, then I would rather fail it down the road when I have better gear and things are better set up. So I don't really want to blow this one in until I get a second one. So I'm going to work on this build for a little while, see where I get with it. We are level 77, basically 78 here soon. So spend some time this weekend working on it and see where I get with it. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.